Friends, the timeless treasured truth of marriage is worthy of our full support. Its historic and vital status makes it as relevant today as when it was first instituted. The reason? Because it is the preeminent forum in which to socialise the next generation. Marriage provides the security and certainty of knowing your biological parents, your biological heritage, and a starting point to work from for your family tree, whilst providing the diversity and different perspectives of female and male role models. As an aside, ever noticed how we need gender balance in every one of society's institutions? The courts, the parliaments, the boards of companies, you name it. And might I add, I don't disagree, but somehow we no longer need gender balance in society's first and most important institution, which was actually designed with gender balance in it. I, of course, talk of marriage. We owe it to future generations to protect marriage as the preeminent forum in which to socialise the next generation against any superficial campaigns which seek to redefine marriage by blithely asserting that its core values and features can be jettisoned without serious consequences. Marriage existed long before judges, long before legislators, long before activists. Those campaigning to reject the truth of marriage have at best 1 decade of experience to draw upon in just a few countries. On the other hand, those who advocate for the truth of marriage to protect our society's children have millennia and a wealth of different worldviews on which to draw. Our own Indigenous people, the Jewish tradition, the Muslim tradition, the Pacific Islanders, and of course, the very foundations of our society, the Christian worldview. Friends, we can be bold and confident in rejecting the campaign to deny the truth of marriage and redefine it. Indeed, we must be bold and confident for the sake of our society. History is littered with superficial and populist campaigns being allowed to get a head of steam whilst good people who know better sat idly by. Your presence here tonight, of course, indicates you are not cut from that cloth. You are not of that ilk. That you care for our society and its preeminent institution, and for somebody like myself and my colleagues, that is of great encouragement. When campaigners start telling you the success of their cause is inevitable, be wary, very wary. It is often the sign, the telltale sign in fact, that their campaign suffers from superficiality, from a paucity of rigour. Remember the inevitable republic? Everyone who wanted to be someone, it seemed, said a republic was inevitable, and all the media screamed vote yes, and the Australian people sagely voted no. In Cold War Europe, there were those saying better red than dead. Why resist communism? It was inevitable. Well, the inevitable communist takeover, thankfully, never occurred. Other than death and taxes, along with media bias on this issue, it seems, nothing is inevitable. It will only be inevitable if you and I let it be inevitable. Another tactic used by some campaigners for redefining marriage is intimidation, some of it singularly unattractive. You know the drill, the name-calling, bigot, hater, homophobic. Our Master of Ceremonies here tonight has been subjected to it. Just today we had another distasteful letter to the editor by someone demanding tolerance for himself, claiming our distinguished Archbishop is alone, ostracised and without support for his views. Well, I for one stand with the Archbishop as does the worldview of Muslims, Jews, our Indigenous people, Pacific Islanders, and yes, the Christian worldview too. So our Archbishop is hardly on his own, but the campaigners try to create this impression to intimidate people into silence. I happen to know what it's like, Your Grace. I recall being told on morning media by a talking head there was no place in Australian politics for people like me. Reason? Because we are a tolerant society. The hypocritical intolerance dripping from that remark was, of course, lost on both the talking head and the interviewer. The Archbishop was also recently attacked for advising parents that sent their children to Catholic schools what the beliefs of the Catholic Church were on marriage. It seems that in this new tolerant world, Catholics won't even be allowed to teach their beliefs to their own flock. When prominent gays like Dolce and Gabbana condemn the campaign to redefine marriage, they are viciously attacked, both verbally and economically, by Elton John and others, which of course highlights the fact that even those identifying as homosexual are not homogeneous when it comes to the campaign to redefine marriage. Many of them oppose it for the reasons we do, without any reliance on religious belief. Some people put the proposition, just allow us to deny the truth of marriage. Well, they don't say that, they say give us marriage equality, but in reality what they're asking is, allow us to deny the truth of marriage and we will be sufficiently gracious to allow you to practice your beliefs, the so-called religious exemption. What they are saying is, we are so tolerant, we will give you an exemption to practice your religion. A free society does not legislate exemptions to permit people to practice their God-given or innate rights. They are a given, part of the natural law, a right that no government... It is a right that no government has a right or authority to give or take away. The experience in other countries shows that denying the truth of marriage is the start of draconian decisions which sees Christian venues and colleges being forced to accommodate same-sex couples, sees adoption agencies that believe in mum and dad having to close, teachers being forced to teach in support of same-sex marriage and homosexual activity, and yes, someone is now suing Zondervan, the publisher of the Bible, for damages because it does not condone homosexuality. To sum up, marriage is society's first institution which got gender balance absolutely right. It existed long before judges and legislators. It is the best forum to bring up children, providing biological certainty and gender diversity. The truth of marriage has withstood the millennia. It is embraced by all historic worldviews. Many homosexuals reject redefining marriage. Change, my friends, is not inevitable. Where the change has occurred, it is not the end of the debate, but the beginning of restricting individual rights and liberties and denying children the benefit of a mum and dad role model. Children are denied gender diversity in their upbringing, and they that have now experienced that are warning us not to go down that track. The reasons, the rationale, the rigour of the case for maintaining the truth of marriage can and needs to withstand the superficiality of the campaigners for redefinition. As my friend Guy Barnett will remember, in the Parliament on the 24th of June 2004, the then Liberal Attorney General had these words to say when the definition was put into the Marriage Act. And allow me to quote from the second reading speech. The government has consistently reiterated the fundamental importance of the place of marriage in our society. It is a central and fundamental institution. It is vital to the stability of our society and provides the best environment for the raising of children. The government has decided to take steps to reinforce the basis of this fundamental institution. Can I say that in our party room there was no dissent to that point of view? There was no suggestion that somehow this should be treated as a conscience issue. Similarly, our friends on the other side, the Australian Labor Party, all voted in favour of that amendment without dissent. That was in 2004, only 10 short years ago. Friends, I was pleased to support that legislation and its rationale at the time. I continue to do so, and I would encourage all of you to be committed in the campaign. Wouldn't it be fantastic if every single one of you tonight went home and wrote a letter to the editor? Or rang up Talkback Radio and said, "We do not stand for the undermining of the truth of marriage, not because we hate anybody, but because we love the institution that has the gender balance right for the socialisation of the next generation." Thanks for your commitment to this fundamental institution. Thanks for having me, and God bless.